Heather Hartline Grafton, and I have a son in 4th grade and a daughter in the 2nd grade.
Hi, my name is Chris, and I'm the father of 2 young girls in grade 4 and grade 7.
We had a really unique start to our time at ISB because we arrived here in Brussels in the middle of March, just a few days before the country went into lockdown. And so our children started at ISB through virtual learning. And that was challenging because it was not the start to ISB or really our Brussels experience that we had dreamed of and expected. So that was really challenging and hard in a number of ways. And they thrived through virtual learning despite the circumstances, but it was certainly difficult at times.
It was really challenging year for her because she was enjoying her school life at ISB, but suddenly school was closed. So she wasn't ready to adapt a new way such as distance learning. And she had to manage her situation herself and try to remain positive for a long period.
The whole COVID experience has been very interesting, watching my children adapt to a very different way of learning, a very different way of day-to-day life. One of their biggest challenges was trying to manage their day-to-day schedules in a manner that's quite different and not as structured as it would otherwise be, with all of their friends and all of their teachers pushing them along from one place to another. So they've had to learn to set alarms for themselves.
So actually I asked kids, what was the experience, and my oldest kept saying, adaptations, need to adapt.
At the beginning of the distance learning, she looked so tired because she wasn't used to it. And also she had to look at the monitor for over 4 hours every weekday, and her eyes had get so tired. And sometimes it was hard to hear online because of the networking environment. So she discovered a new way to not exhausted from having distance learning. For example, she used a recording system on Zoom, and she recorded the class so that she could listen to it afterwards.
One of the key things that I've seen them grow in here at home is their reliance on each other as sisters, and they've grown quite a bit closer, I guess because they kind of have to. They're here by themselves. I think missing their friends was the biggest growth, how to deal with life where they don't see their friends all the time.
At home, she was relaxing, but she was struggling to stay home such a long days. But she valued the extra time very well, and she played a piano more often. And I think it was a really good way for her to reduce her frustration.
Right off at the beginning of the year, they encouraged kids to try and find alternate ways to get to school if they could avoid the bus. We've been riding our bicycles to and from school every day. And I think that was a struggle for them for about a week. But after that, they're perfectly fine. It's been great to see them grow in that respect. And also for me as a parent, that's my favorite time of the day, is riding in and out of school with them every day, because then I can actually get time with them.
Actually, when they went back to school, they appreciate more learning in action with teachers. And at the same time, that's online learning, they managed to do it independently. That before they felt like they couldn't, and then they managed. So that was a success. That it's not like what happened if this, what happened, and no, just like whatever happened, we adapt. So that was, I think, the huge achievement.
I think they've learned a lot of very valuable life skills over the course of this. I mean, not saying that it's all been pleasant for them, but I think it's been great to see them adapt and learn new ways of doing things.
Yeah, it was really tough time for her, but she learned many things from her situation. And also she learned how to cope with challenges.
This year in particular, within the context of a pandemic, has been really transformative for our children. I think we did not realize how adaptable they were, how resilient they were, how capable they were until really this year. I mean, we always knew they were great kids, but we've really seen them take on some more responsibilities and to, again, just be so resilient in these unprecedented times. And I think one of the aspects of life at ISB that has been particularly meaningful for our family is that our children have such a greater understanding of collective responsibility, of the idea that we are not just thinking about ourselves, but thinking about others. And so they understand more than ever how important it is to think about your own actions and behaviors and how that can have a ripple effect for other people.